Hello, hello, hello. Check, 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 check. Test, test, test. Test, 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 test. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Test, 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 test. This is the test after I had just said I was going to reset, but now I am not because I am hoping that, hold on, what you are hearing is me, but maybe not. Test, 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 test. 1, 2, 1, 2. Audio input. Hold on. Test, test, test. All right. Test, 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 test. 1, 2. All right, turn it down. That may be too hot. Let's see. Test, 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 test. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Kansas is having a down, very down season.
Okay, the hiss is gone. Now I'm talking, but it's low. Test, test, test. All right, hopefully, Justin, hopefully now this is a little bit better. Sounds like I might be a little soft, but a little too hot. Okay, turning it down, turning it down. I'm going to turn this up on a little too hot still. Okay, how is, let's see what this is, what we got here. Test, 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 test. 1, 2, 1, 2. Still a little too hot. How could that possibly be? Check, 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 check. Test, 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 test. 1, 2, 1, 2. You've got hiss. Test, 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 test. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Test, 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 test. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Make sure all this other stuff is turned down. Test, 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 test. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, Justin, right now I have, you've got hiss. Still got hiss. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. I don't understand why you have. Oh, okay. We good now? Justin, I just saw your text that said you like this. I am going right now. I've got the output all the way up. I've got the input into the Focusrite about. We're just tickling the yellow. I've got the output on the Access about 1 o'clock, and I've got myself where I normally am. So I am saying I think we are good based on that, and if that's the case, I'm going to leave this all where it is, if that works for you. So just text me if for some reason it is not, but if not, well, I think we're good.
Maybe one of them was purple. Got rid of all of those, and Still, there weren't many that were doing that around campus. So I thought this was a great idea by Baylor Student Government. A rare W.
Two things of apparel that I've never had on in my life. That is anything with burnt orange on it or the University of Texas, and I promise you there's never been an article of clothing. I would never get in those bets where, you got to wear TCU if you lose, because I just couldn't bring myself. I would rather pay for a steak dinner, do almost anything in the world than have to put on one of those things. Now, here's what I'm thinking about. I want to think of a scenario, and then I want us to give our predictions.
Okay.
I want to think of a scenario Monday night. And after Monday Night Football, after we've had a good evening, and I'm usually thinking about what do I want to watch. Do I want to watch Presumed Innocent, or do I just want to remember it as a good Harrison Ford movie and a good book by Scott Turow? What do I want to watch this evening?
Wind down.
To kind of wind down. Yeah, that's right, a good murder investigation trial to wind down for the evening. But the Bears, I'm just thinking of a Monday night where Monday Night Football happens. We're setting up, we're getting ready to play, the Bears play Gonzaga in Spokane, and then I also in the back of my mind, I know that the Bears have won a rivalry game against the Frogs, and they're sitting there at 5-4. Like, that's a good evening. That's a good evening. Like, you don't have to, see, that's why people go, I'm going to have a nice drink while I watch this. You don't need a nice drink. You don't need a cocktail when you feel that good about life. You don't even need anything to complement it or enhance it when you feel that great. And I think that would make me feel superb to be in that spot. Now, if the Bears are 4-5, I'll still watch the game. I'll still cheer on the Bears, but I think we'll just have a little bit different feeling. Man, this is going to be a knock 'em, sock 'em game, and I think this thing, much like 2022, comes down to the last 3 minutes. And we joke sometimes about, the old adage, last team that has the ball is going to win. Man, that would not shock me with these two teams.
Yeah, there's a little bit of, I guess now, old school Big 12 to this. And by that I mean like 2016 Big 12. I think there's some of that with these two teams. Their quarterbacks, they love slinging it. They can get in a rhythm. They can throw it all over the yard. And neither team is tremendous on the defensive end. Both have spurts of playing really well, and they do it in different ways. We heard Landry talk about it. TCU can get after the passer sometimes, and so can Baylor. And so there's a lot of things that, and that TCU receiving core too, which we haven't talked much about today, is excellent. There are playmakers all over the field, like it was 10 years ago when this rivalry was at its peak. Not quite all the way there, but like that in a lot of ways in terms of the offensive talent that's out there.
Aren't these two programs pretty close in the 2025 recruiting rankings?
Yes. TCU is number 1 in the Big 12. Baylor is number 3.
See,
so that's an important aspect of
thing, yeah.
Both coaches looked like they were fired a month ago, right? And now they've got some momentum, and they've already done the off-the-field momentum.
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yes, yeah. And so any momentum here, again, you're not playing for a Big 12 championship, but any momentum here is big. And both these teams have key pieces coming back next year. We talk about Baylor with Sawyer and Bryson Washington and Dawson Pendergrass, a lot of these skill position guys, Caden Jenkins, a guy on the defensive side, Keaton Thomas coming back next year. It's not like the cupboard is going to be stripped bare come Christmas time. So it's an exciting prospect for these two teams the last few games of the season, but it starts today.
It does start today, and now it's time to give our predictions. Of course, Eddie Lackey, a star of the 2013 team. Boy, 2012 was a year Baylor kind of got it going. They had a tough start. That was the year they lost to West Virginia 70-63. Nick Florence put up huge numbers in that game and throughout the season. But Eddie Lackey will join us here in just a few minutes, about 5-10 minutes away from that interview, which I think you will really enjoy. Kim, I have the Bears winning this game. And I have the Bears, I think there's going to be some points on that board, and I have the Bears winning 31-27. Bears win, Bears cover. Bears win, Bears cover. If you get 3, You want to take the Bears, you win, they cover, and they win, obviously, outright, because they've got to. So 31-27, Bears win over the Horned Frogs.
Good teams win, great teams cover.
There you go.
That's a good pick, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, as much as we're hyping up these two offenses, I have that fear in the back of my mind. I'm like, is this going to end 17-14? Is something crazy going to happen in this game that it becomes a slugfest, defensive struggle? I don't think so. I don't see any scenario where either of these teams are held under 20 points. I'm in the same kind of point range as you, 38-28 last week. I'm going to go 35-31 in the game this week, and I'm picking the Bears.
Okay, there he goes, and I love the pick.
Against my internal struggle, I will pick the Bears.
Shout-outs to the Haney family as they make their way in from Aledo. We had Landry Burdine on us from Aledo. Hoss Haney on this TCU roster. He's a quarterback. They're great friends of mine. The Georgia Lane family, another TCU family, and Holden Lane is a great young player, sophomore at Lake Highlands. People think I'm coaching for Lake Highlands with what I'm wearing today, with sort of the coaching pullover, but we have had a great time out here, and we are excited to share this with you. This is our interview with Eddie Lackey, great member of that 2013 Baylor team. That interview is next.
The Brazos Landing is excited to welcome the Baylor Bears football season of 2024. We have the closest access to McLean Stadium via our underpass walkway. Park with us for $50 per car and redeem your parking pass for food or drink at the Brazos Landing on game day. Make the Brazos Landing your game day destination. Pregame, watching your favorite team on TV, or celebrating the Baylor win. Sic 'em Bears.
There's a new Farmers Insurance agent right here in Central Texas. Meet Dennis Polian with the Polian Insurance Agency. Give Dennis and his team a call so they can help you as you assess whether you're ready for the journey ahead. That's Farmers Insurance Polian, located in the West Rock Center, 1201 Hewitt Drive, Waco, 254-781-0205. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are Farmers.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products unavailable in every state.
An exceptional experience and extraordinary results. That's what you receive when you hire the attorneys at Cherry Johnson Sigmund James Law Firm. Craig Cherry, Ryan Johnson, Mark Sigmund, and Scott James are trial lawyers with 100-plus years of combined experience, specializing in catastrophic personal injury and product defect cases, as well as business disputes. They have unmatched credentials, real-world experiences, and a passion to serve your legal needs. The lawyers at Cherry Johnson Sigmund James have obtained substantial settlements and over $2 billion in verdicts for their clients, due in part to their ingenuity and relentless tenacity. They also have knowledge in business, finance, and engineering. Learn more about Cherry Johnson Sigmund James at cjsjlaw.com. Their Waco office is on the 9th floor in Roosevelt Tower, 400 Austin Avenue.
Flinging the green and gold worldwide on the web at syntechsportsfan.com.
Hey, John, wanted to
synergy between extra transmission to build businesses for our
grain delay stuff, I think.
where we are really all about people.
Because ExtraCode is so committed to building businesses, we pour into this local community. They pour into us all the time. It's just awesome. Well, probably. Come on, at least you know where it's at. So you go back into what it is that you're important to us.
To learn more, visit extracodebanks.com. Extracode Banks is a member FDIC.
Anything else you need from us?
Score big with custom lighting by Waco's award-winning experts, lighting by TCU.
He's out there, but I don't know if he can make it yet, but you know.
Steal the show with over 1 million light combos and patterns to show off your favorite team colors and holiday designs. All from the couch, so you never miss a play. Visit lightingbygga.com today to book your free, no-obligation estimate. Mention code SICEM to get $200 on your new installation. Again, that's lightingbygga.com.
Nothing's changed.
Solve all of your payroll, and tax preparation challenges at an affordable price. And they've been serving Central Texas businesses for almost 30 years. Okay. Contact Ken at maggardbookkeeping.com for a consultation.
Thanks.
I hate my job, but I don't want to get up in the morning. I taste it, but I can't wait to get out of there. You ask me why, and what I'll say to you is true. Well, you can get breakfast tacos at Rudy's Barbecue. Scrambled eggs and brisket ain't fooling around. Sausage wraps on there, the best in town. Barbecue for breakfast, yes it's true. Put a smile on the morning at Rudy's Barbecue.
ESPN Central Texas is your flagship station for Baylor Athletics.
Eddie Lackey joining us now. And Eddie, it was so much fun to talk to you on the radio in recent years, and then to just kind of, it's all of you guys from tomorrow, in fact this afternoon on the radio station, I'm having your old buddy Colin Brentz. Who I'm trying to, I have to keep it all straight because you were 2012, 2013. I think Colin, he had to wait till you got out of town to claim his starting role, and that might have been on that 2014 team, but sure did. Man, what an exciting time! As the for a lot of reasons we know about, some we will mention, talk about, but this was probably put off longer than it needed to be. But now that it's happening, what's the anticipation been like? Because you're, as one of the team leaders, especially of that 13 team, and you had a great 2012 season, but I'm sure you've been spearheading, helping get as many of your former teammates together as possible. What's the build-up to this been like? With the announcement that it was going to happen, and then trying to make sure you get as many guys as possible back to be celebrated?
Yeah, so I was really just honored and excited. It was a few months ago, really right before the season started. We had several people from Baylor Athletics jump on a Zoom call with basically a committee of us. It was like me, Bryce Petty, Bryce Hager, Seth Russell, Levi Norwood. There's a handful of other guys, and that was when they kind of brought this to our attention that they were wanting to celebrate both of our teams together this year. And it seemed fitting, and it's exciting that we get to have both of those teams together, and it's a brotherhood, and it's bizarre that it's been 10, 11 years since that's happened, but it still feels like it was just last week, and as far as reaching out to a lot of people, it's funny you say that. The thing that outside of all the festivities and everything that we're doing, and getting to have lunch with Bryles and Bennett, and overall just celebrate as a team together, I put a group text together of about 20 former players on those teams and said, hey, you guys are all coming into town, we better play some golf. So I was trying to pull some strings at Ridgewood, and I pestered the club pro out there, Jimmy Cunningham, I think his name is.
Yeah, I know Jimmy.
He got us hooked up with some tee times, and so we've got a little game that we're going to play on Saturday morning, and it'll just be fun to just catch up and reminisce, obviously, and go down the memory lane, and just kind of just reflect, and just a lot of gratitude from our team, and the conversation hasn't stopped. I think my phone was buzzing in that group text at like 10 o'clock last night. I mean, guys are just, they're asking, when are you coming in, when are you leaving, what hotel are you staying at, are you going to this, going to that? There's just a huge excitement about it, and it's all coming together really nicely, and just want this rain to stay where I go. So
yeah, we're not in total control, although at Baylor we do play a lot, so maybe we could pray for it to hold off, and maybe at least for y'all's round of golf out at Ridgewood. By the way, who do you think of these two teams being celebrated? Do you have, who's kind of a leader? Are you a top 5 golfer, do you think, in this group, if you're going to have 20 or 30 players out there? And seems like the quarterbacks always find a way to play the most golf and to have the nicest swings and the nicest equipment for whatever reason. Maybe but who are your kind of, give me a handicap, who do you think will be the best golfers on the team?
Well, I've already been looking at them, so, it probably tells you something that most of the guys going out there do not have established handicaps, so probably tells you a little something. But I think there's about 4 of us. There's a few single digits, including myself. I'm a 5 right now. I think Bryce Petty's a 4, and Jordan Niver, I think he is a 7. So we're going to try to do this little team captain deal and track it with an app throughout the time that we're playing and just make it a fun time. But yeah, it's not about that as much as it's just, hey, catching up with guys and why not go hit the sticks and play a little white ball.
You come to Baylor in 12. You had been at community college. Before that, I know you got out to Michigan. I'm sure you love the weather, going from California out to, this really remote and cold environment. I mean, even going back to how you arrived at Baylor, it's kind of amazing. And what's wild is, and I heard you talking about this recently, maybe with John Morris, but I even had this thought before we were going to do this today about how when I started covering the Cowboys, they had Gatwin and Dexter Coakley. And so in some ways, I was trying to think in my mind, did you come along too late or too early? Because it's your body size and your height, there was a place for you in the NFL. Unfortunately, I think when you were getting out, it was like Urlacher type. Everybody that, the old Brian Cox, everybody was like, we want you to be 6'4" and 230 and can run. And yet there were times so anyway, I remember hearing you talk about you didn't totally know. You obviously were being recruited by some really good schools, Baylor being one of them. But that's wild that you showed up kind of like, hey, I wonder if I can do this. And then you go straight to all Big 12 for 2 straight years. How quickly did you, when you got on campus and you got in practice with that 2012 team, did it kind of go, okay, did you come in with the confidence knowing I know I can do this, or did something have to happen in spring football to make you go, okay, I think I can really, when did you sort of have that breakthrough moment heading into that 2012 season?
Yeah, that's fair. I really think it was a journey for sure. I mean, just to rewind a little bit, going back to the school that I went to in Michigan, it was a Division II school called Northwood University, and they basically said, hey, you can play whatever position you want to. And I was always told in high school, you're just not natural size for a linebacker at the next level. You've got the talent, but you're going to be a safety, and you need to switch it over to safety, and that's where I went my senior year in high school. So at that point, our coaches in high school were really pushing to the college coaches, hey, this guy's a safety, he can ball, he can make plays, and so that's where the mind was with our coaching staff in high school and what they were telling college coaches. And so all that to be said, I went there, I played safety. I liked it, but it wasn't what I was natural at. I was always uncomfortable, I felt like. I couldn't flip the hips and everything like most safeties can. And I felt like I was way more natural down on the line of scrimmage.
Hey, everything okay down there?
Fast forward to getting to Baylor, at first, I think you don't just jump right in and line up against the number one offense in the country and just feel comfortable. It was pretty bizarre, the amount of points. Everybody remembers how many points those offenses were putting up on teams, and that's what I was going up against immediately. And Bennett and Good, they actually wanted me.
Good. You want to hear everything? All right.
And they had me and Hager competing against each other. It was very
okay. Cool. I think we're good, guys.
Not the friendship quite yet, but it was very friendly. I mean, we wouldn't really hang out outside.
Sounds good.
And everything, because we were still we were competing for the same spot. But they were like, why are we doing this? Why don't we have both of these guys play? And so they moved me to that outside spot at the wheel linebacker, and that was the perfect fit for me, and the middle spot was perfect for Bryce. So, and then as far as the comfort goes, you could tell there was a lot of growing pains in that 2012 season. That was our first year, and a lot of mental errors, a lot of stuff that I didn't realize. If I'm honest, I didn't know enough about a pulling guard at that point. I didn't know enough about, how to read your initial key reads with the offensive line, and I had to learn all that stuff. So I think that's just a testament to the development that we had with our coaching staff. They really believed in me, and they believed that I had the talent to play and succeed at that level and be an impact maker. And they needed to develop me, and so I can't credit it enough to the development. Coach Gush and Coach Bennett, I always joke about it, but everybody knew my name on the field, not for a good reason. It was always, tearing into me for doing the wrong things on the field, and getting under a block I shouldn't have gotten under, or just doing dumb stuff. And so I finally settled down, and it was about midway through that season that things settled down and moved in the right direction, got really comfortable, started making some plays, and then that just fed into that 2013 season. So,
your numbers are staggering for those two seasons, like in terms of tackles, TFLs. It was like, I think combined maybe 23 or 24 in those two seasons, lots of sacks. But the thing I remember you for, you had these huge game-changing interceptions, one to really seal a big victory over TCU. I believe that was in 13. And that was Big Paul Hall. I went back and looked at that last night because I think he was number 4, because I was thinking, right, Boykin kind of came in and started playing at some point that season, but Paul Hall was playing in that game, and he tried to kind of go with a pretty short pass, and there you were, and the announcers were talking about, he baited him into it. He baited it. So, I guess that safety kind of time probably did end up helping you in a lot of ways. It felt awkward to you, but in terms of the fact that you were a ball hawk and maybe had more interceptions than any Baylor player ever in a 2-year span, especially a linebacker. Maybe it was a cornerback or safety, but 7 in 2 years. That play specifically, though, you took it to the house for a 54-yard return. What was it, Eddie, about the fact that you always had these huge, your return average at Baylor on your interceptions was somewhere like 23 to 27 yards per return. You didn't just catch it and run to the sideline or fall down. You were looking to score. I think you had 3 pick sixes. What was that mentality, and what do you attribute that to?
Man, if I got to rewind a little bit to think through that, because it was funny. My first year in football, just Pee Wee football days, first grade, I remember ginormous pads and helmet, and I scored 37 touchdowns my first year in football. So running back was always what I thought I was going to be. I always thought I was going to be a running back, and not to say that that's what that's where I can attribute things to, but I always wanted to have the ball in my hands. I always wanted to score touchdowns, but it goes back to I really wasn't natural at it as I developed and just getting into high school and stuff. They put me in certain packages, but really I think I had a knack for, I just had instincts, and it is one thing that you can't coach, they say, with instincts, and I always was, it would bite me sometimes if my instincts were wrong. I think that's where I really had to learn and kind of weigh out the cost there. If I try to jump onto a route and grab this ball and get upfield, what's the cost if that doesn't happen? And it's probably a touchdown or it's a big gain. And so I had to get smarter. I tried to do certain things like that in 2012, my first year, and it just wasn't the right thing. But to just hit on the TCU.
All right, we've started network recordings.
Just to give you an example. That was a kind of a unique deal, because I was watching Paul Hall. He knew that I was kind of playing a little off, as well as I believe it was Sam Hall. He was lined up over Trayvon Boykin, because Boykin was playing receiver in that game, and so he was that inside receiver. He looks at him and he kind of gives this little tap on his thigh, really, and there's only so many things that's going to mean. And to me, I'm kind of breaking it down, and I put myself in his head thinking like a quarterback probably would. And they're on the same page. They see we're I don't know, I can't remember if it was like second or third down and 5, so they know probably an easy first down potentially. So I really just assumed, and instincts told me that they were going to run that slant, and sure enough, that's what happened. So I just had to make sure my angles were right. I wanted to not show that I understood what that little sign was that he gave to Boykin, but it obviously worked out really well.
A new season of Baylor basketball begins Monday as the Bears take on the Gonzaga Bulldogs in a rematch of the 2021 National Championship game. 10 p.m. for the countdown to tip-off. 10:30 tip-off Monday from Spokane, Washington. Join Baylor Athletics Hall of Famer Pat Numley and the voice of the Bears, John Morris, for all the action of Baylor Bear basketball. And it begins Monday, right here on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
The moment you see those flashing lights, you think, this can't happen to me. I lost a girlfriend. I lost a job because I was in jail.
Learn about the real costs of dirt driving at facesofdirtdriving.com. Sponsored by TechStop.
It's a calling that's kept us free. It's a place to belong. What's the calling? Being a member of the Air Force Reserve. It's doing a job that makes a difference. Serving your community and your country. It's part-time service, but the impact is full-time. And the experience, education, and other benefits you receive can enhance your civilian career and your life. What's your calling? Air Force Reserve. Find out about local job opportunities with the Air Force Reserve at Joint Base San Antonio Lackland or Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base Fort Worth. Call 800-257-1212 or go to afreserve.com. Sponsored by the Air Force Reserve and aired in cooperation with the Texas Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Just, however,
When you have a litter-free state of mind, you get the answer to all of life's great questions right in your... Derek, can you hear me?
Derek, because I let trash...
Okay, they can't for some reason.
If I throw garbage out of my truck...
Hello? Yeah. Oh, okay, never mind. Oh, okay, never mind.
It's 213.
Oh, I thought you were on 213. No.
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. Everybody's good then. 30 seconds.
Texting? That's exactly what don't...
Yes.
Texas news.
Get your litter-free state of mind today. Yeah, hundreds of thanks from TechStop.
Hey, everybody.
Yes, Bob mentioned it, but I know where it's at. If you have to go to it, I need, maybe a minute to get it ready, but not long.
Time for photo?
Sure.
Golden hour.
All right, have a great broadcast, guys.
When the atmosphere scatters blue wavelengths, making perfect
I don't know what that says about the overall broadcast, but I'll take it.
Check out Chic and STEM for more inspiration.
From the Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios, this is KRZI Waco, K222DC Waco, K265DB Temple, ESPN Central Texas.
This is the Baylor Alumni Network Tailgate Show.
Starting in 3, 2, 1.
Brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, championship partner of Baylor Athletics. Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance online to find a local agent today. Baylor Scott and White Health, the official hospital and healthcare system of Baylor Athletics. Your healthcare, your way. HEB, the official grocer of Baylor Athletics, proudly serving Texans since 1905. TFNB, your bank for life, the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Premier ER and Urgent Care, feel better now. Nissan, innovation that excites. Get ready for all the pregame action, starting right now.
are getting bigger and bigger, as the calendar turns to November. Today, it's the rivalry game, a protected Big 12 rivalry game. Baylor and TCU, both teams playing some winning football as we head into November, and the Bears are going to try to keep that going today against their rivals from just up I-35W. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us. Alongside the voice of the Bears, John Morris, and Baylor legend Seth Russell, I am Derek Smith. We are here at the Baylor Alumni tent down in Touchdown Alley. Aaron Sexton, our producer at our flagship station, ESPN Central Texas. And John, Seth, this is a game you mark when the calendar comes out each year. I mean, even the Big 12 has validated the importance of this ball game. And you look, we're going to talk about, you've got Baylor legends in the house. You've got a big game playing for bowl eligibility down the line here. Really looking forward to this today.
Well, it's Baylor TCU. You start with that, and Baylor's won 2 straight, and TCU has won 2 straight. Seth, I like the way the Bears are playing right now. Glad we get TCU in Waco, and I think we kind of owe them, don't we?
Yeah. Last year was a little rough, to say the least on that. But no, it's always a big game. I mean, if you're any fan of Baylor and you went to Baylor and you play at Baylor, you know how big this rivalry game is. I mean, it's bragging rights, especially for the seniors. This is their last chance, right? Last chance to really make a statement piece. Last year they got, we'll just say embarrassed, right, on the field, and this is where they can really make a redemption game, and then obviously make a pretty heavy, strong running towards the end of the Big 12.
Bears have lost 4 straight to TCU in this series. That hurts. 8 of the last 9 in this series. The win in there was a triple overtime win. But we do have 2014. We have 14. But we would like to win a little more regularly than every 10 years. But, gosh, isn't that fun to have the 2013, 2014 team back celebrating them this weekend? You're a part of that, Seth. You guys, it's a great number. It seems like you guys have already had a great weekend.
Oh yeah, it's been phenomenal. We had a celebration last night with being inducted to the Baylor Sports Hall of Fame, which was just an amazing event put on by the B Association. And then earlier today had the whole team together at George's at their kind of conference room where basically all the teams, a lot of the coaches showed up, and it was just such a fun trip down memory lane, just to be a part of that team and just really realize it's not easy to win, especially when back-to-back, in this type of conference. I mean, it's just shown, right? I mean, the last 8 to 9 years have been pretty one up year. The rest of it have been kind of down, and so we're really cool to see kind of where we were at. We're building back up to there again, and just really it was really cool to see all the same faces. I mean, guys you hadn't seen in 7, 8, 9 years, which is really crazy, and not really many people have changed, which is really they may not say the same about me, but it was a great time, really great time.
So those on the radio can't see, but those watching on our Baylor Athletics YouTube video stream can see. Seth, you've got your Baylor line jersey on. Are you warmed up and stretched? Are you going to be running the line today?
No, I'm like a junkyard dog, just ready to go at any time. No, we're. I don't know how many people are running. I know a lot of. So at the banquet last night, they were handing out a lot of them to who are wanting to run. I mean, I could see maybe 20, 25, 30 of us out there running. I think they're giving us, I think, John, you were saying they're going to give us 15, 20-yard head start, which we may need more than that.
I was pushing for that. I'm hopeful that's what happens.
Okay,
right.
Hopefully they do. If they don't, then it may not look good. But yeah, no, they gave us opportunity. We started this conversation about probably like 4 or 5 months ago with staff, with Mac and Javon and everybody, and they were like, hey, we're going to be putting this together. And then actually, I think it was Bryce that brought it up. Or Bryce or Eddie, one of the guys. They were like, "Hey, can we run the line?" And they were like, Let's do some.
Great
Let's
idea.
Get back to you, right? And then of course, they come back to us. Hey, you got to sign this
waiver.
Sign this waiver that's 50 pages long, and just to remove. And so, but then they had if you can't see it, so on the back, you had the opportunity to choose either the 13 or 14 year. Which is just really cool, and so then of course it's going to go in down memory lane.
Yeah,
get to do that one last kind of shot across the field, and hopefully, and then obviously against a big a big rivalry game too, which is
Cool.
really cool.
That is so cool. It's a great idea, and I'm glad you guys are doing it. It says on the back where it normally has your name or nickname, this says Big 12 champs for you guys, so that is really, really cool. That's going to be fun. You guys actually did run through the line when you were here, but you never ran with the line.
Correct.
So you get to do that tonight.
Get to run the opposite, so we get to kind of feel what the students get to feel, to really storm the field and experience that.
Well, lots of cool experiences this weekend here as Baylor takes on TCU, honoring the 2013-2014 championship teams. We're going to continue to visit with Seth. We'll talk to new Baylor Athletic Hall of Famer coming up. All that and more on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show, presented by Baylor Alumni, bringing the Baylor family together. Come on out. We're in Touchdown Alley, and we'll be here for a while. Get some food. It's a beautiful evening here right now. The sun is broken through the clouds, and we'll have more to get you ready for this game. Baylor and TCU coming up on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Hi, this is John Morris for Green Eye Associates. Let Green Eye Associates, Doctors Leanne Green and Avery Platt help you go clearly. Their experienced team enjoyed...
Just come up on yours just slightly. Well, real close, but they're a little hotter than you.
Communication about your eyes and eyewear.
Oh, okay, you're good.
Lake Air Drive.
I mean, it's not a big difference. It's just they're slightly higher than you.
And a wide selection of eyewear made on-site by experts. Green Eye Associates, official optometrists of Baylor Athletics.
A bank in any town USA treats everyone like, well, anyone. At Central National Bank, we provide Central Texans with a different kind of banking. We believe in people over processes, listening over telling, and helping our customers over helping ourselves. Come to Central National Bank and experience the difference. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC. Proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
This season, beat the holiday rush and shop Astound.com for bigger deals, bigger savings, and bigger internet. For a limited time, get Astound Internet for only $20 a month for 2 years. Plus, add 5G unlimited Astound Mobile free for 12 months. Our award-winning fiber-powered internet can handle it all. Faster streaming, better gaming, and secure online shopping. Lock in bigger savings than ever before at Astound.com. Restrictions apply. See Astound.com for details.
Everything we do for you.
Are you looking for a new set of wheels? First Central Credit Union Auto Financing offers fast, complete coverage, competitive rates, and flexible terms make for a win in financing your next vehicle. A quick online application makes it easy to score the money you need at firstcentralcu.com. Everything we do for you.
Membership and loan policy requirements apply. Member NCUA.
You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
But really just like the biggest thing was the realization of just like, Bryce brought this out, Bryce Petty, just saying like how how good we were, right? Just how good we were on the field, like how bad we made people look. I mean, it was 60, 70, 650 yards, 700 yards a game, and just crazy of just like what we were able to put together from a team standpoint, and really just an awesome atmosphere. Just to kind of, like I said, just to reminisce and just to think back of like what was created, what was built. What did we do on the field, off the field? Just like when we stepped on the field, we were already that team. Right, it was all developed in the off season, with Coach Kaz and all the strength staff, and just when we got with our coaches, it was just like, this is the product, and this is what we're going to do, and we're going to do it at a really high level. And that was just ingrained in us. And so just like going back and thinking through that, of just how did we get to that point? Like looking at other teams around the country of just who else is kind of doing this at this level? It's like it's pretty rare of whenever back to back. I mean, it's just. I guess the most recent, would have been Georgia or Bama, or just somebody that's just constantly in the running, right? And so, but no, it was a really cool atmosphere to be a part of, and just the memories were just kind of flowing for everybody.
22-4 in those 2 years, 13-0 at home, didn't lose a home game. And one of the cool things about the teams 13 and 14 back-to-back, they closed out Floyd Casey Stadium, which is huge. I mean, huge event, especially the way it played out, playing Texas for the Big 12 title, then turn out the lights. That was huge. And then you get to open McLean Stadium the next year in 2014. I mean, those are two huge events, and then you guys had the team to match it, winning Big 12 titles both those years.
Yeah, no, it's definitely give credit to those juniors and seniors, right? I mean, they were the heartbeat, they were the soul of all of it, right? And then nowadays, like, we're bringing up NIL, right? The transfer portal. It's like you cannot develop that type of camaraderie in this type of system now. Like, you just can't do it because, at the smaller schools, hey, you have a guy who's, let's give an example, like Matt Jones, right? I mean, he's having a breakout year this year. I mean, I wouldn't, if it wasn't his senior year, I could see somebody coming in and offer him, $500,000, $1 million and a half to go and play for them somewhere else, right? I mean, that's just the world we live in now. And so it's just, you're very rarely you're going to see somebody, if they do extremely well at a smaller, let's just say a smaller school, right? Baylor is compared to the other Big 12 teams, of sticking around for 3, 4, even 5 years. And so, it's just what they're developing is really cool.
And I think about guys who had to wait. Bryce Petty had to wait his turn behind RG3 and Nick Florence. You had to wait your turn. You had to wait your turn, and I'm sure it wasn't always fun. I'm sure it was challenging at times, but obviously the payoff was pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying, going back to it, just every player that sits behind somebody, knowing that, hey, they're a couple years older, right? You're going to get your shot. Whenever you do, you need to make a best opportunity. Make the best of it. And I think that's what a lot of our guys did. And talking to Art today, it was just like, even Monty, of just like, it's like the recruiting style that we had. It didn't matter if you were a fifth-year guy or a true freshman or redshirt freshman. Like, you get one guy go down, you got another guy stepping in that's running a 4-3 on a receiver. So, like, who the heck is this guy, right? You don't know. It was just that mentality of next man up, and that was really being developed. And looking forward to obviously seeing them play today, and Sawyer stepping up. I mean, next man up, right? I mean, him really stepping in and doing his own. And all the receivers kind of following behind suit with him and the offensive staff, and so it's really cool.
John, him talking about those receivers and how fast they were. I'm curious, when you guys are just messing around, you guys had pretty strong arms. They were really fast. Did you ever try to see if you could just like really overthrow those guys, or could they always?
Well, the thing is like it's easy to overthrow them if you throw it early. Right. If you wait, let them get some momentum going, and you're like, oh my gosh, now you got to really rip into it. And depending on the wind and all the, in the indoor, it was easy to do because it was just a controlled atmosphere. Outside, it was always pretty gusty on the practice field, and so. But that's the thing, though. I mean, we tried to make it as game-like as possible, and just the repetitions that just tied into it just made it where we knew if it was gusty or not. We knew where we needed to put the ball, that they were going to get it. And the nice thing is they had 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8 different gears that they can go and get the ball if we do end up, letting one rip.
Let me you, since you brought up the indoor, let me ask you this question that came up at our Lunch with a Legend yesterday. We had the 13-14 team there, and 4 guys representing your team were up on the stage. And the question was trying to get an answer here 10 years later, okay, so tell the truth.
Sure.
It always seemed like the offense was inside.
Oh, 100%.
And the defense was outside in the 110-degree heat, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So I think from that standpoint was the offense, you want the controlled atmosphere because you want good reps.
Of course you do.
Right?
Sure, that's a good story.
Let's just be that's
a
not
good
prima
line.
donna or anything. I mean, if it's raining, if it's not, whatever. I like to get wet, but but I mean, I think defense, always. I mean, I think that was just Bennett's mentality was, hey, we're going to be outside. Art wanted to be outside too, but I think it was just, hey, we need to get good reps, do what we need to do from that standpoint. And then even halfway through practice, defense would always come in.
Sure.
And so they had that first half out there where we'd split the field and then we'd kind of go, on air type.
But for the most part, the Ferrari was inside in the garage. The Jeep, and I drive a Jeep, was outside in the parking lot. Okay?
Call it what it is.
All right, very good.
Yes.
Well, that's good. Well, we're visiting with Seth Russell here on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show, getting you ready for Baylor and TCU coming up tonight, nationally televised at 7 p.m. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. We'll get you ready for this football game today, some specific keys. We'll also visit in between some of those thoughts with Baylor Athletics Hall of Famer Mark Cochran. That is all coming up here on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show. Come see us. We're in Touchdown Alley, and we'll be back with more after this on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
When life gets complicated, Butts Law Firm is your one-stop for a wide range of legal needs. Whether you need estate planning documents such as a will, trust, or guardianship, or the appointment of a receiver to handle personal or business assets management and disposal, consumer protection, family-related legal matters, or various business-related issues, we are your community firm. Whether you're planning for the future, navigating a probate, or managing a business, our experienced team is ready to guide you every step of the way. Trust us to provide the legal support you need. Call today, 406-641-BUTZ. That's 406-641-2889. Or come by the Waxahachie office at 301 South Rogers Street, Suite 202, downtown Waxahachie. Come see the difference having a trusted attorney by your side can make, because at Butts Law Firm, your legal rights are our business.
Kids can now join the Baylor Cup Club, presented by Green Eye Associates, the official kids club of Baylor Athletics. Fans 12 and under can register for the low cost of $25 and gain exclusive benefits and access to Baylor Athletics events. Members receive free admission to select events, exclusive giveaway access, and their own membership package. To register your Cub, please visit BaylorBears.com/Cub Club. Sign your Cub up today and sick 'em Bears.
It's Jeep Adventure Days at Allen Samuels in Waco. Drive off in the new 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee Overland with $13,000 off, or the 2024 Jeep Gladiator Sport with a huge 18% off MSRP. Need more options? How about a new Jeep Compass, $9,000 off, or a stunning Wagoneer L with $8,300 dealer discount. Plus, all models come with 0% financing for 36 months. Get your adventure started today at Allen Samuels in Waco.
Come by. Let's be friends.
You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
We welcome you back into the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show from Touchdown Alley. It is Baylor and TCU here coming up. That's at 7 o'clock this evening. TCU 5-3. The Bears are 4-4. This is a big game anyway. Obviously, there's a lot at stake. Baylor could pull within a game of bowl eligibility. TCU could get there. But it's fun to have this rivalry. It's been a little bit since both teams were kind of playing their best football of the year. I think Baylor is putting it together with wins. TCU's done that the same. You know, the Big 12, you're going to play a lot of close games. You got to win them, and that's what we're both doing right now.
Yeah, TCU went over Utah 13-7 last week. Great comeback. They were down 17 to Texas Tech and won it 35-34. Yeah. So that was a great win for two great wins for TCU. And the Bears, you know, the win over Texas Tech in Lubbock, then last week homecoming over Oklahoma State. And I think Baylor's playing its best football right now, the way they've shown the last 2 weeks.
I 100% agree. I mean, it's, you know, if you were to say 2 games ago, do you think this team could get bowl eligible? The answer is probably no. But seeing these last 2 weeks and really coming to their own, defense is really starting to figure things out, right? They're flying around. Last week I think both teams were coming off a high last week. I guess Oklahoma State not, but Baylor was coming off a high. I think they caught Oklahoma State at the right time. They were just a bad football team. Oklahoma State was, and I think Baylor kind of got their yips out of the way, last week, which I think was really great. And then coming into this week, I mean, this can really create that momentum that Baylor has been yearning for 3, 4, 5 years, right? I mean, just to continue to build off of it.
I think turnovers are going to be huge tonight. TCU is not good in that area. They are minus 11 in takeaways this year. We're not great. I think we're minus 1 or minus 2. But minus 11, if they can help us out. Josh Hoover throws for a lot of yards, but sometimes not sure who he's throwing to. So if he can help us out, if they can help us out turnover-wise, I'd like to see that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anytime you can get the ball back on offense, I mean, and the way that they've been playing these past 2 weeks, I mean, that can be a big game changer. I mean, it's always that's one of the big three of, like, can you win the turnover battle? Right. Can you win that margin? And if you do, I think a large percentage of the time you're going to win the game. And so, the odds are stacked in Baylor's favor in that sense, and so they just got to capitalize on it.
Seth, they can throw the football well. In fact, they're tops in the Big 12 in passing per game. Josh Hoover, 333 yards per game. It's easy to say the secondary's got to play well, and they do. But as someone who dissected defense like that, where do you really see some other keys against a team that really likes to sling it all around?
Yeah, so the same exact system. Kendall Browse is the OC there, so I know that system through and through. Yeah. I can do it in my sleep. The big thing that they're going to really stress is those outside backers. Right, they're going to make you determine, are you going to be in or are you going to be out? If you're out, we're going to run it. If you're in, we're going to throw it. So you're always going to be wrong, right, which that's what helps with the quarterback of always having 300-plus yards a game, which that's what Hoover's been doing. But then it's also, making those big plays, getting the ball in the end zone. They've been good moving the ball down the field. It's just they haven't been great in the red zone, which that offense is designed for those big shots. And so if they can keep guys in front, make them work the ball down the field, don't give up those big home run plays, which I know that's kind of been a little bit of a question mark on our defensive backs this year of giving those up or having PI calls or things like that. That's really I think that's really where we're going to stress, and obviously getting to the quarterback. I mean, that's going to be huge. Linton and those guys, Franklin just being mean, right? Just being mean, just getting people and moving them out of the way, just making the quarterback Hoover uncomfortable, because a lot of those are kind of based off of rhythm, right? You get a feel if you're a half a step behind, or you're half hitch, or you're full hitch because you have to step up and move. That can really make a good movement for the corner to be able to break on those option routes at about 8 to 10 yards.
Can I share one thing with you from the Coaches Show Wednesday with Coach Aranda? One of the questions was, the defense. Where do you feel like the defense is? What, you seem like you're hitting your stride. What still needs to be better? First words out of his mouth were we need to play the ball better when the ball's in the air. And that's going to be big today. I mean, there's going to be a lot of balls in the air, but that was the first thing he said, and that was Wednesday. So that means that's been a real focus all week in practice, right?
Absolutely. I mean, and I think that's what especially with the offenses that play now. I mean, we're going to play against Houston later this year. They run a similar style offense like they do here. Throwing the ball down the field is a big key for a lot of these offenses, especially tonight. TCU wants to sling it around. They've shown that they can, and just be able to execute, get in the way, get in the passing lanes, and just make it uncomfortable for Hoover.
Well, those are some of the keys. We'll continue to discuss those as we roll on here on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show. Tonight's game is presented by Central National Bank, proudly serving Central Texans in Waco, Temple, and Austin. Bank different. Bank Central, Central National Bank. Well, this weekend was the Baylor Athletics Hall of Fame induction, and we've got Baylor football's newest inductee here with us. We're going to talk with Mark Cochran coming up here on the program after this timeout. It is Baylor and TCU today coming up at McLean Stadium, and this is the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Mark,
how you doing? What's up, man? How you doing?
Have you gone gold yet? Go gold with Baylor Athletics this season and be the gold factor across each of our sports. Wear exclusive Go Gold apparel from the Baylor Bookstore at the upcoming Go Gold dates. To stay up to date on some golden opportunities, visit BaylorBears.com/Go Gold. Go Gold and Sic 'em Bears.
Stay in the game with Q-Collar, the world's first and only equipment proven to help protect the brain. It's backed by advanced research, built for the modern athlete, and designed to protect your most important asset, your brain. Q-Collar is a proud partner of the Baylor Bears. When it's on, it's on. Learn more and collar up at Q30.com. That's Q30.com.
Premier ER and Urgent Care has all the convenience of urgent care with all the expertise of an ER, all under one roof. At every visit, be seen by ER-trained staff with on-site lab and CT, X-ray, ultrasound, and EKG. Here, you pay for the appropriate level of care that you receive, and we are in-network with most major insurance providers. Premier ER and Urgent Care has 4 convenient locations serving Texas: San Marcos, Temple, Waco, and Woodway. To learn more, visit www.premier.care.
At H-E-B, we know that game day is about more than the game itself. The taste of victory is unparalleled, but so is the taste of H-E-B jalapeno poppers hot off the grill. Seeing the best players in their prime is truly something to behold. So is an H-E-B Prime 1 burger that you grilled to perfection. For low prices on all the things that make game day great and delicious, visit H-E-B, your official game day headquarters, or use the My H-E-B app to start prepping for game day right away.
You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Back here in Touchdown Alley, it's the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show presented by Baylor Alumni, bringing the Baylor family together. Alongside the voice of the Bears, John Morris, I'm Derek Smith, and we have a special guest right now. And, John, you introduced him last night to the Hall of Fame crowd as he was inducted with his family.
It was great. The Hall of Fame banquet last night, 7 new inductees, and one of them representing Baylor football is Mark Cochran, former Baylor offensive lineman, mid to early 80s, 83 to 85, some good teams, 83 Bluebonnet Bowl team, 85 Liberty Bowl team. And Mark, first, welcome to you. Thanks for coming out here, and congratulations on the Hall of Fame induction.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. You know, it's still kind of taking it all in, and it's a little overwhelming, but it's been a great week. Last night was fantastic, and just been enjoying it all.
I loved your family with you. What were their? I'd be interested in their comments at the end of the night.
They said, "Dad, we're proud of
nice.
you." You know, just that hits you right in the heart.
Yeah.
And so everybody was there, and it was they all enjoyed it. Thought it was neat. My 1-year-old granddaughter had to exit a little early. That was a little bit past her bedtime.
It got a little late, yeah. How about those teams you were on, and not just the teams, but the linemen that you were with? Man, you guys had some stalwarts in there.
Yes, absolutely. Mark Addix, John Addix, myself, you just go through the line and Parade All-American Brian Camp, I mean, we just had some really good offensive linemen at that time. And even prior to that, you look at Randy Grimes and those, Mark Kirshner, just guys that played consistently well for a long time. It was easy to look up to those guys.
Mark, that era is one, as you look at Coach Taff, he'd really established himself here by that point. And I think you probably came to Baylor at a little bit of a different time than some of the guys we talked to from that 74 team when Baylor wasn't as established under Coach Taff. What was it that attracted you to the program when you came here and wanted to build on what you saw? Yeah,
they had just won their second Southwest Conference championship when I was being recruited that season that they won. So I came in freshman fall of 81. So that's just right after the good run that they had, and that team was excellent. Mm-hmm. It wasn't hard to look at them and go, wow, this is a great team, got good players. Our class that signed in 81 was a top class. Guys that I knew in high school from around the state, now we were at Baylor playing together, and it was a great class.
Speaking of recruiting, you told a great story last night. I'd love for you to retell. You had maxed out on your recruiting visits, but Coach Taff made a way for you to come to Baylor for a visit.
Yeah, I tell you, it was amazing because Coach John O'Hare, longtime Taff assistant, wanted to get me there real bad, and I didn't have a weekend left before signing date. So he said, hey, talk to your head coach in high school. Maybe he can work it out so you can come during the week. And so it happened, and I met Coach Taff on the Baylor plane, and we flew just him and I together, which it really was an interesting time because we had conversation that you probably normally don't have in that recruiting conversation because we have an hour flight back to Waco, and it was really good to have great insight, and then seeing the campus as it normally functions, not just on the weekend, was another selling point for me. And then when I committed to Friday morning to Coach Taft and come to Baylor, I had a weekend visit to Texas, and he asked me if I really wanted to go on that trip, and I said, I got to go see it, but I'm not changing my mind. So I tell you, it is a classic example of who Coach Taft is. He said, okay. And one of his coaches drove me from Baylor coach's office to UT coach's office and dropped me off in my suitcase and said, we'll see you in a little bit.
Drove him to Austin for the recruiting visit.
Dropped me right off.
Oh, that's so
Staying
great.
Close.
I mean,
That's
it
smart.
was great. It was great. And like I said, weekly visits may happen more often now than they did. They didn't happen at all back then.
Sure.
It may be something a little bit more common. Back then it wasn't common at all. And so it was kind of a little unique, but he said, okay, we'll get you there.
Was your last game at Baylor the Liberty Bowl win over LSU?
Yes. Great game, great win. You know, something that I didn't mention about last night that I meant to, and all of that, the week and us being in the parking lot at the middle of the night because the fire alarm went off at the hotel.
Yes.
John Simpson was MVP of that game.
Oh, he was. That's
he
right.
Was.
He almost got sent home, too, didn't he?
He almost got sent home.
That's correct. I'd forgotten that. You're exactly. Derek, so the week, Thursday night, Friday night maybe, I don't remember what night the bowl game was on, but during the week, somebody pulled the fire alarm in the hotel. They're in Memphis, and everybody, and it's cold, freezing cold.
Blankets
everybody has
were in
to
the parking lot.
Yes, everybody has to clear out out of the hotel into the parking lot, and the coaches say, "Coming to crack down on who is that?" Well, John Simpson was one of them. Pete Fredenberg's going to send him home.
Send him home right now.
Who else? Who else was it?
He said, Coach Taft said, All-American linebacker Ray Berry was with him. And Coach Pete on a dime said, oh, well, let's not rush to judgment here too quickly. Let's make sure we get this thing right.
Smart move.
Well, I tell you, they did pay physically.
Did they?
Oh, yeah, blood, sweat, and tears for that. But think about that, if John Simpson hadn't played in that game. He was the MVP.
He was the MVP of the game.
Well over 200 yards passing, receiving. Great. It was amazing.
That's a great win, 21-7 over LSU.
Yeah.
Visiting with Baylor Athletics Hall of Famer Mark Cochran. And Mark, since your time at Baylor, you played in the NFL with the San Francisco 49ers, YMCA, and now Samaritan's Purse. For you, what were the key kind of steps on the path that's led you to where you are now with Samaritan's Purse?
I tell you, God is good, and He equips you for what He has you to do. And I'm telling you, because my weakest points of what I thought were my weakest points as a executive was the things that he encouraged me and built me up to be the best at, which is, that's just, we do that to ourselves, but the Lord equips, and He equipped me to be able to just have conversations with people, and that's what I do now with Samaritan's Purse, just communicate, build relationships with folks who love the ministry and support the ministry, and it's just really neat to see that path.
And I imagine doing what they do, going into areas of the world that have been torn by natural disasters, or where I imagine you see some things that are a part of some things that really hit you in the heart.
Oh, it does. I tell you, it's. I see every day how the Lord moves. Some people say, I just never seen the Lord move. And I said, you're not looking, because He's moving all the time. So I get to see that every day. And as I tell people that I communicate with, I'm telling you because it encourages me. So if it encourages me, hopefully it'll encourage you. But it's just really neat to have that organization. Of course, Franklin Graham is the leader, and he's a great leader.
You're a Hall of Famer in every way, man.
Yeah,
congratulations on the formal induction last night. Blessings on what you do with Samaritan's Purse.
Thank you.
And it is great to see. It's great to have you back.
Absolutely.
All right,
Thank
man.
you very much.
All right,
Appreciate
love you.
it.
Appreciate it.
Mark Cochran, Baylor Athletics Hall of Famer, inducted this weekend, and it's great to have him here with us on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show. We'll take a time out and come back with more after this on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
The Toyota Tundra's powerful, available iForce V6 engine means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. To your neighbor, it means helping them with their new chainsaw carving hobby.
What do you think of this thing, eh? It's a bearfish birdman wood carving, if I've ever seen one.
To your cousins, the Tundra means as they jump off the boat onto the sandbar.
Now watch this flip.
No, don't. You're gonna...
Cannonball!
Definitely new.
To your co-pilots, the Tundra means an extra comfortable journey.
I can just...
Right back.
You sure can.
And to you, the Tundra means... whoa. Toyota is a proud partner of Baylor Athletics. Now this is a bare necessity. From tailgating to sailgating, the 2025 Tundra is built to take you wherever the road leads, on game day and beyond. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. See packages and options at toyota.com for feature availability.
This season, beat the holiday rush and shop Astound.com for bigger deals, bigger savings, and bigger internet. For a limited time, get Astound Internet for only $20 a month for 2 years. Plus, add 5G unlimited Astound Mobile free for 12 months. Our award-winning fiber-powered internet can handle it all. Faster streaming, better gaming, and secure online shopping. Lock in bigger savings than ever before at Astound.com. Restrictions apply. See Astound.com for details.
Kids can now join the Baylor Cup Club, presented by Green Eye Associates, the official kids club of Baylor Athletics. Fans 12 and under can register for the low cost of $25 and gain exclusive benefits and access to Baylor Athletics events. Members receive free admission to select events, exclusive giveaway access, and their own membership package. To register your Cub, please visit BaylorBears.com/Cub Club. Sign your Cub up today and sick 'em Bears.
You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
We are brought to you today by Premier ER and Urgent Care. It's the place to go when you're not sure where to go. Open 24/7, just a short walk across campus. No appointment necessary. Just walk in. Visit premier.care to learn more. We roll on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate show, visiting once again with the Baylor legend Seth Russell as we get ready for the game today between Baylor and TCU. A couple of numbers offensively overall. Baylor, the number 3 offense in the Big 12. TCU, number 5, although TCU does have the Big 12's number 1 passing offense. Defensively, Baylor 10, TCU 13. You know, we talked a little bit about TCU's offense, and they can throw the football. Of course, Baylor's proven they can as well in these last 2 weeks. Seth, have been very balanced. In fact, I'll admit, when I saw Baylor number 3 in the Big 12 in offense, I kind of honestly did a little bit of a double take. You saw us climbing, but to get up there is impressive. Almost 600 yards combined rushing the last 2 weeks. About 500 yards passing. What's been the key? What have you seen? Is it sustainable? Are those just 2 really good weeks, or are we improving in some of the areas that all have that compound interest for success?
Yeah, I think the nice thing to look at, you mentioned the numbers, right? TCU is 13 defensively, right? The past couple of weeks, Oklahoma State was, 15?
Yeah.
And then I think
Tech was about 14.
15.
Yeah.
So, you're playing teams that are not good on defense, which is really good for the running game, right? Which then obviously opens up the passing game. And so if they can capitalize on that, knowing that there is some weakness there, at least on the defensive side, the offense should be licking their chops, right? This is another game where I could see 300, maybe 300 yards rushing, right? I could see that happening. You look back at last week. You think Robertson threw for more than what he actually did. He threw for 19 passes. He had 11 receptions, an averaging of 11 yards a reception. So it's just that ties into the defense, or at least ties into the run game, right? They had 343 yards rushing last week, which is just phenomenal, right? That's what you want to see from a quarterback, because that makes the game a lot easier to open up. And so knowing that going into this week, they have to capitalize, right? They got to be able to run the ball. That's just going to open everything else up.
We talked, I remember you talking last year as it became clear that Baylor was going back to the spread. You talked about the fact that helps your offensive line. That does some things maybe to mask some deficiencies. And are we starting to see this offensive line come into their own within this system? I think, again, there's been moments, but it's been a little more consistent these last 2 weeks, and even kind of going at times against Iowa State.
Yeah, sure. They're healthy, right, which is big, especially late in the season. Over the second half of the season, these are heavyweight rounds now, right? These are, who can win the battle of attrition? You saw that last week. Oklahoma State had 2 of their All-Americans out on defense due to injury, or whatever it was. But looking at this week, these guys are healthy. They're firing off the ball. They're really coming into their own. They're understanding the offense. Sawyer's running it at such a great efficiency, which is really, really key, staying on the field, converting on third down, doing the big things. controlling the ball. Not, he had a couple of mistakes last week. You're just like, kind of airheaded mistakes, but him being a gunslinger, right, that's just going to happen. Hey, it's in the heat of the moment. He's done a great job up to this point of controlling and handling that pressure and not just giving the ball away. But on the flip side, the offensive line is really coming into their own, just seeing that they have really good camaraderie and they're really building together well.
Seth, let's talk about the mental side, the toughness side. We've talked about the fact that the last 9 years in this rivalry, Baylor's won one game, just one win since the 61-58 game, the never to be forgotten Saturday here. Baylor's won 2 straight. TCU's playing well. They've won 2 straight and 3 of 4. Mental toughness-wise, hopefully they've been building towards that. But you having won games like this, what's it going to take from the Bears today to sort of establish that the first half of the season is done? Hopefully we're kind of building a November to remember here.
Yeah, I mean, you look at their record, right? I mean, Baylor's 4-4. I mean, this is like I said earlier in the broadcast, you look 2 games in the past, before these past 2 games, we don't know if we can even win 6, if they can even win 6. But now that they have 4 under their belt, I mean, there's a really good chance that we can get bowl eligible and maybe even higher, right? Maybe 7, potentially 8 if they win out, right? And I mean, there's a big chance, especially with the teams that are on the schedule. But yeah, this game is built off momentum. Both teams have really good momentum going in, which builds confidence on both sides of the ball. And I think one big thing is, hey, TCU is never going to be out of the game. Same with Baylor. They're never going to be out of the game. And so it's literally going to come down to that last second of the fourth quarter, who's going to have the ball, who's going to control it, and be able to put that knockout punch in.
And Seth, one last question for you. I know our record overall in the blackouts hasn't been the best, but for this Baylor football team, their record's 1-0 in them. Air Force, they love wearing these uniforms. I don't know, is that even a little added boost for this group?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, if you look well, you play well, right? I mean, that's just kind of the motto. And so they've done a great job this year, at least from the blackout standpoint, of really maintaining that, controlling that. Granted, Air Force was not a very good team either. Just coming onto the field, we're better athletes than they were. But on the flip side, right, really got to control that. They're coming to our house. Right, you don't let somebody come and embarrass us in our house. So they're going to come out punching, right? I mean, that's just who they are. They have a great coaching staff on that side with Sonny Dykes and Kendall and those guys, and they're going to do their best to try to put their foot on your throat, and you got to be ready to answer back.
Well, Seth, we've been waiting a while. Let's see if we can be celebrating a win over TCU here tonight.
Let's do it.
I appreciate it. Seth Russell here on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show. We roll on. We'll have a look at Big 12 scores, and then we'll hear from Brian Estridge, the voice of the Horned Frogs, to get the TCU perspective after this on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Come see why Green Eye Associates is voted best in Waco year after year. Enjoy exceptional service and care from Dr. Leanne Green alongside her dedicated optometrist and staff. Receive trustworthy insights on your eye health. Enjoy the impressive variety of contacts and eyewear, and work with the most experienced optical team in Waco. Don't miss the new state-of-the-art dry eye therapies that rejuvenate the eyes and face with safe, non-invasive treatments to restore comfort and quality of life. Green Eye Associates, official optometrist of Baylor Athletics.
It's Ram Power Days at Allen Samuels in Waco. Get the 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cab with an incredible $15,000 off MSRP. Or drive away in a 2024 Ram 2500 Tradesman Crew Cab with $10,000 off MSRP. A great selection with over 350 new to choose from. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Hurry into Allen Samuels in Waco today. First responders get an extra $500 off.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Have you gone gold yet? Go gold with Baylor Athletics this season and be the gold factor across each of our sports. Wear exclusive Go Gold apparel from the Baylor bookstore at the upcoming Go Gold dates. To stay up to date on some golden opportunities, visit BaylorBears.com/GoGold. Go Gold and sick 'em Bears.
TFNB Your Bank for Life is the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texas are making TFNB their bank for life. Sign up for our Edge checking and savings accounts to earn interest or cash back. With 5 convenient locations and an award-winning mobile app, banking has never been easier. TFNB, your bank for life. Member FDIC.
You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
At H-E-B, we know that game day is about more than the game itself. The taste of victory is unparalleled, but so is the taste of H-E-B jalapeno.
So you intro and outro it, right?
Seeing the best players in their prime is truly something to behold. So is an H-E-B Prime 1 burger that you grilled to perfection. For low prices on all the things that make game day great and delicious, visit H-E-B, your official game day headquarters, or use the My H-E-B app to start prepping for game day right away.
Are you a proud Baylor fan? Do you love prizes? The Baylor Sports app allows fans to track their attendance across athletic events and earn points using Baylor Bold Rewards.
5'10".
Reward the most loyal fans for
And you'll intro and outro, right?
cheer online today.
Okay.
BoldRewards.com or download the Baylor Sports app straight to your phone. Prizes this year are better than ever, so start earning your points today.
This season, beat the holiday rush and shop Astound.com for bigger deals, bigger savings, and bigger internet. For a limited time, get Astound Internet for only $20 a month for 2 years. Plus, add 5G unlimited Astound Mobile free for 12 months. Our award-winning fiber-powered internet can handle it all. Faster streaming, better gaming, and secure online shopping. Lock in bigger savings than ever before at Astound.com. Restrictions apply. See Astound.com for details.
First Central Credit Union invites you to join our team. Game strategy, earn 5% APY on your money. Enjoy ATM fee refunds and the ability to make deposits 24/7 at our ATMs. You can earn interest and have access to your money. Suit up in a free new member t-shirt. Join our team today at firstcentralcu.com. Everything we do for you. Sick 'em, Bears.
Eligibility and qualifications apply. APY annual percentage yield. Member NCUA.
You're listening to Baylor Football, on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Welcome you back into the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show. It is Baylor and TCU coming up tonight at 7 o'clock. We've got countdown to kickoff forthcoming here, just over 10 minutes away. We'll get insights from Bryce Cherry of the Waco Tribune-Herald, Jerry Hill, all of that and more upcoming. But now it is time to get to know your foe. TCU comes into the game with a 5-3 record. They've won 2 straight and 3 of their last 4. And to get the inside scoop on them, we visit with Brian Estridge, their longtime play-by-play voice. And the first question is, how are they reacting to an interesting season? They've had some crushing losses like those against Houston and UCF. They've also had an exhilarating win against Texas Tech this past week. So Brian Estridge explains to us just how is this team reacting and trying to channel it out to play their best football this time of year?
I think that's a great question because I think
all right, bud, 5 minutes.
Them. I think the fact that you did have the tough loss to Central Florida early in the season, where they came back and beat you here on your home field, and I think that sort of set this team back for a couple of weeks, and then the performance against Houston in front of the home folks. I think they learned a lesson there that you've got to be the most enthusiastic team week in and week out, and I think you've seen that now for the last 2 weeks. This team plays well on the road. They did that at Utah, hostile environment. Utah's not the Utes of old. We know that, but still to go to Salt Lake City and win is good. And we're able to kind of hang on there in the end. And then to come back from 17 down to Texas Tech here at home. I think they finally sort of got over the hump in that game, if you will. And it was a halftime speech from Sonny Dykes where he talked about, hey, the most excited team to be here is going to win this game in the second half. And, he coached his tail off in that game just to get them fired up and to keep them fired up. And I think they now know where the bar is set as far as enthusiasm, physicality, and intensity is. I think those are the things that they know they have to bring week in and week out in this league.
Visiting with Brian Estridge, voice of the Horned Frogs here on the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show. And Brian, a great passing game for TCU this year. Josh Hoover, Jack Besh, and others combined for 333 yards per game, tops in the Big 12. Is that an offense that gives TCU a chance to win every ball game they're in?
Well, I think it does, just because it can score quickly and it can score from anywhere on the field. But I think the one thing that Sonny Dykes would like to see is more consistency in the run game. And I think they've kind of gotten to that point the last 2 weeks. The emergence of Stavion Williams as part of that run game has been really important, in this wild frog formation. But I think that has been the thing that has been missing from a consistency standpoint. You're right. Josh Hoover's had a great year as far as the numbers are concerned. He's made big throws. He can make all the throws. He's got a wide receiving core that, I think TCU would put up against anyone in the country. And the offensive line is really starting to emerge. Brockemeier's getting better at center, sort of leading that group. And so, but I still think he wants to see more consistency out of his run game. He'd love to see one of these backs emerge as the bell cow, whether it's Cam Cook or Trent Battle or it's Jeremy Payne. They all kind of do certain things well. I think what he would love to see is one of them sort of step up and take the reins as doing everything well. And they've been able to kind of overcome it the last week by adding Savion, last 2 weeks really, by adding Savion to the mix. And let's see if that continues here today.
Visiting with Brian Estridge. Brian, one thing that stands out as interesting about the offense is you're scoring. You're moving the football, although turnovers have been a problem, 18 of them. What's been, not all turnovers are created the same, and sometimes you can pull your hair out trying to figure it out, but what's your sense of why that's been a problem? That also the offense has found ways around it at times.
They have. They've overcome some of them, that's for sure. I tell you what, when it comes to interceptions, I'm just going to be candid with you. I think when you go to the well so many times, sometimes you come up empty. And I think if you're asking Josh Hoover to throw the football 40-plus times a game, I think you're going to have a few mistakes. And I think that's where the interceptions have come in, because we've had to rely so much on the passing game. Putting the ball on the ground, there's been another issue. What are they up to? 14? I think they're up to like 9 fumbles, something like that. Yeah, that's too many. TCU's put it on the ground too many times. And so I think that they want to make sure that they're, taking care of the football. Some of that has been, if you go back and you watch film, and I'm not making excuses here, but some of it has been in the zone read with Josh, with a running back that's sort of in and out of the lineup. I think back to the first game that Trent Battle came back from injury, and there was a turnover early on a mesh between he and Trent, and I'm just thinking to myself, well, shucks, they probably ain't practiced it that much, and so you've seen some of that, when they put Savion in the backfield, you've had some of those issues. So I think that's part of it, but it's something they got to work through. I'll be honest with you. They're not going to continue to win football games, and they know they can't turn it over against this good Baylor team doing that.
Visiting with Brian Estridge, TCU voice. Brian, defensively, what are some keys you'll be watching for the Frogs against Baylor today?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. I think first down defense is going to be important. Everybody talks about third down defense, but somehow you got to get
30 seconds.
Get them out of that run game, because they know, I think TCU does, that if they just get rolling downhill, they're really hard to stop. Nearly 600 yards over the last 2 weeks for Baylor running the football. So I think first down defense is going to be really important for TCU. They can't allow the big play over their head. They've been pretty good about that, to be honest with you. But to me, it's going to all be about first down. If you can get Baylor in second and long, second and a little more than medium, I think TCU thinks they have a shot.
That is Brian Estridge, the voice of the Horned Frogs, with his insights on a TCU team. They're 5-3. Baylor is 4-4. The next installment of this rivalry takes place just over an hour from now. We'll take a timeout, and when we come back, we're going to throw it back upstairs for Countdown to Kickoff. The voice of the Bears, John Morris, will take you into the network pregame show when we return after this. Thanks for being with us here. This is the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Come see why Green
All right, bud. Talk to you after the game.
in Waco year after year.
Yeah, we're good.
Service and care from Dr.
All right, thanks, John.
Dedicated optometrist and staff. Receive trustworthy insights on your eye health. Enjoy the impressive variety of contacts and eyewear, and work with the most experienced optical team in Waco. Don't miss the new state-of-the-art dry eye therapies that rejuvenate the eyes and face with safe, non-invasive treatments to restore comfort and quality of life. Green Eye Associates, official optometrist of Baylor Athletics.
TFNB, your bank for life, is the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texas are making TFNB their bank for life. Sign up for our Edge checking and savings accounts to earn interest or cash back. With 5 convenient locations and an award-winning mobile app, banking has never been easier. TFNB, your bank for life. Member FDIC.
There's two mindsets. You want Iowa State and BYU to run the table. Good for the Big 12.
Score big savings during truck season at Jim Turner Chevrolet in McGregor. Right now, get discounts on our lineup of powerful Chevy Silverados. Save on SUVs too, like the reliable Chevy Suburban or the stylish Tahoe and the Chevy Blazer EV. Hurry! The first 100 to take a test drive this month will receive a 6-pack of Dr. Pepper and a chance to win a year supply free. Ask for details.
Hi, I'm Jim Turner. Enjoy the game, then come see us at Jim Turner Chevrolet in McGregor. Together, let's drive.
Premier ER and Urgent Care has all the convenience of urgent care with all the expertise of an ER, all under one roof.
Aaron,
At every visit, be seen by ER-trained staff with on-site lab and CT, X-ray, ultrasound, and EKG. Here, you pay for the appropriate level of care that you receive, and we are in network with most major insurance providers. Premier ER and Urgent Care has 4 convenient locations serving Texas: San Marcos, Temple, Waco, and Woodway. To learn more, visit www.premier.care.
From the Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios, this is KRZI Waco, K222DC Waco, K265DV Temple, ESPN Central Texas.
You're listening to Baylor Football. On the Baylor Sports Media Network.
And welcome into the countdown to kickoff. We are live at McLean Stadium, level 5, looking out on the field. Some of the specialists are out there right now. It is a stark difference between Baylor and TCU. Baylor in all black tonight. TCU in all white except for the helmets. The helmets are purple with the silver frog logo.